Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm JP Tong, and welcome to today's episode of Detox Your Mind. Tonight, I'll be talking about intention, and I feel that it is very important in order to have more clarity in our life, um, it is essential that we have clarity with our intention as well. All right, so a lot of people will ask me, well, I think I do have intention. So, how is that going to help me have more clarity in my life? Well, first of all, let me explain what intentions are so that we are very clear and not be confused other, with other aspects of our mind. And one is that intention is not a goal. Okay, intention is not a goal. A lot of times we will ask questions like, so what is your intention? So when we ask ourselves, what is our intention on the things that we do or on the things that we pursue? If you think on a deeper level, you're asking yourself why it is important for you to do this or to pursue this in your life. So what is so important? Okay, what values do these actions provide for you? What benefits? Why is it so important? And that is what intention is all about. Because I always hear when people tell me, because when I ask them, so what's your intention? And they tell me, oh, I just want to be successful. I have a New Year resolution that I want to achieve, or this is my dream in my life. I want to have financial freedom. I want to earn 1 million, or I want to get married. And it's always about the goal. So that's why we have to be very careful not to confuse ourselves with between a goal and an intention. Okay, goals are goals where it is something that we pursue to achieve, such as exactly what I said, maybe in terms of relationships, career, uh, some of you, education, health, perhaps. So there are many different aspects of what is it that you want to pursue in your life. Okay, but after you have asked yourself, or after you have set these kind of goals in your life, then the next question is, what is the intention? What is the intention behind setting these goals? All right. Now it is very important because you think about it, as we are pursuing our goals, sometimes when we're so stressed and so overwhelmed from pursuing our goals, we actually take a step back and we ask, what's that all about? Why am I caught up in this rat race? Or why is this relationship so stressful? I thought being in this relationship is supposed to make me happy, but I end up being very stressed instead, and I lose myself. So I hear that a lot of times. So I always ask, so what is your intention? What is your intention when you have this relationship? What is your intention when you pursue your career goals, for example? So it all boils down to, why is it so important for you? What's the value that it will bring to your life? Okay, now, so that's why having intention is actually very, very important, because why? It gives our life meaning, and that's where when we're clear with the intention and when we pursue them, operating from these intentions, you will feel very fulfilled. You feel very fulfilled, and it gives you a purpose on a daily basis. On a daily basis. Because otherwise, whatever goals that you may set, you may not have that consistency or that motivation that will actually, that will make you want to continue on a daily basis to pursue your goals. That's why intention is very, very important. Okay, let's see who's tuned in. Hi, Lily. Hi, Julie, Cochran, Agnes, Jesse, Suksuwan, if I pronounce your name correctly. Hi, Pastor Shin, Hannah. Hi, Dr. Rena. How are you? Hi, Nancy. Sharon, hello. Kamala, Ziying, and Sofan, and the rest of you who have tuned in. Thank you very much for tuning in. So intention is very. A lot of people, when they want to be, when they want to succeed in their life, and not just succeed, but to feel a sense of fulfillment, they are very, very clear of why is it that they pursue such dreams. Okay, because otherwise there is a catch to this, because you may tell me, oh, well, everyone is doing it, right? My parents are telling me to do it. My friends are pursuing these dreams. It's a norm, JP. So obviously, it will make sense for me to pursue. Then, if you think on a deeper level, so you are literally just doing what your neighbors are doing what your friends are doing, and that's why a lot of times we become overwhelmed, and then sometimes we'll come to a juncture in our life, and we feel that, and you feel lost. Okay, and you feel lost, and you feel stressed. You feel that you're just repeating the cycle over and over again, thinking that since everyone is pursuing the same dreams, then we should do the same thing as well, because everyone is doing it. So you're pretty much um, doing what society tells you to do, or doing what other people tell you to do. Okay, and what's wrong with that? Well, you will realize that you're not living your own truth. You're not living your own truth at all. Think about it. You are living a concept of what people think is their truth. So everyone just gets caught up in doing what everyone thinks they should be doing. And it's all a concept. And that is why in a lot of developed countries where they worship material abundance, okay, money, fame, all that, as a to to show to others and to yourself that you are a success. And if you look closely, a lot of times, yes, they are very successful in the career, and the fame, and so on and so forth. But you will notice that they feel quite empty inside. Okay, so outwardly they may look very glamorous. They may look like, wow, they're living on top of the world. But when you talk to them on a deeper level, sometimes, I'm not saying all, but most of the time, they feel very empty. And that is why they keep pursuing all these external, all these goals, all this so-called success. And they want more and more and more and more, because no matter how much they succeed, after a while, it becomes empty. They feel a void. Because why? They become mechanical towards the way they lead their life. Okay, they become mechanical. All right, so let that sink in a little bit, and you think about what I just said. Okay, so reflect. Are there times in your life where you just ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing right now? Okay, the money may be good. I may have good friends or good colleagues, but what am I doing? What is my intention of all this? What is the value that I want to create for myself? So what is this all about? Okay, well, not many people actually think like that, but it is time that we do that, so that you can have more clarity in your life, and you'll be able to live your fullest potential and live your best life. All right? That is why it is advisable that we always take some time out, which are called chill time, and really reflect. All right? I'm not saying to do it every day, reflect every day, but once in a while, just check in with yourself and ask yourself, What am I busy with? What am I pursuing? What is my intention? What is my intention behind all these pursuits? What is my intention? And that's very, very important to know. All right? Because otherwise, you are just going to lose yourself. You will lose yourself because you are living a concept of what you thought is supposed to bring you fulfillment and joy. You thought. And when you are there, once you achieve your goal and you're still back to square one in terms of a sense of fulfillment, that is what is happening. Is because your intention of setting yourself to achieve these goals were not clear. You were just focusing on that goal, whatever it is, and you were just going at it without being clear with your intention. Okay, I hope I'm clear on that. Any questions so far? Please feel free to type your questions on the comment section, and I will answer them along the way. All right. So moving along. So how do we get started with these intentions? So what are the intentions that I'm talking about? All right. So for me, my intention that I set on a daily basis is to benefit others through my actions, through my speech, through my writing messages to others. As long as I cross path with someone, I would like to somehow benefit them in one way or another. Benefiting them means make a difference. Make a difference in their lives, in the way they think, in the way they think, as in the way they process the thoughts. Okay, so they can live their fullest potential. So that's my intention on a daily basis. But I also have an intention on a long term, a long term intention. Okay, a long term intention. And what is that? And that is it is to live. My intention is to operate out of compassion and kindness, and to always bring benefit to others through my work and through my actions. So that is a long-term goal that I have. Okay, a long-term goal in terms of the value and what is important to me that I would like to create in my life. So because I have that intention, then how I go about achieving that can change. It can change. So I'm not fixated to saying that, oh, I need to do it this way or I need to do it in that way. As long as I focus on my intention of what it is that I want to create, it can change depending on time. It can change depending on place. It can also change depending on the person whom I meet. So it will always change. All right, and as a result, then I am not I'm not micromanaging myself, but I'm looking at the flexibility of whatever that is needed for me to show kindness and to be of benefit to others. So this is something that I would recommend for all of you to think about. Really take some time and ask yourself, what is it that I want to create? Because everything that I am doing, why is it so important to me? Okay, so it can be questions like, why am I married? Why is it so important for me to get married? Why is it so important for me to have children, for example? And for some of you who already have children, so why is it important for me to nurture them and to love them? Why? What is the intention behind me nurturing and me loving my child or my children? Be very, very clear with that. Because why? Remember in my previous talks, I spoke about how to, about loving others, how to love others the way they need to be loved, and not spoiling them, because spoiling them is another form of love whereby you give in to whatever it is that the person wants. But do they need it? That is a different question. Okay, so by loving them, do we leave them better off as a person, or do we leave them, how would I say, inadequate? Okay, so does your love push or inspire your children or whomever it is whom you love dearly? Does your love inspire them or empower them to fulfill their highest potential? That's a question that we always ask when we love someone the right way. So, what is your intention? What is your intention? Or for some people whom I know, their version of love is, well, you got to do what I tell you to do, because out of love, I know better than you. I'm more mature, I'm older, my life experiences is a lot more. So you just do what I do and you be fine. Right? Sound familiar? Well, a lot of parents do that out of love, out of love. But they don't realize is that yes, your intention is to love the person, but let's go even deeper. Okay, so if your intention is to love the person and to hope that your loved ones are better off because of you, then you go deeper. So okay, if that's the case, then you ask yourself, for me to keep spoiling them and giving them what they need, and not teach them to be independent, because don't forget, one day they will have to be independent and they will have to fend for themselves, right? So are you preparing them for the real world? And if not, why not? So what is your intention? If your answer is, yeah, I have been, taking care of my family and all my loved ones, but are they really independent? How is my love for them helping them to become independent? So again, you question yourself. So once you question yourself and you get clear, you have a clearer idea of your intention for loving them, then everything starts to fall in place. Then you be very, very mindful of your actions and your speech when you do things for your loved ones out of love. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right. So again, it's about and questioning your actions and your speech and what you do. That's very, very important. Okay, so that is just one example of setting an intention for yourself. So what I always recommend for all of you to do is to write it down. Always write it down instead of thinking about it. Pen it or type it in your laptop or on your phone, and just put it in writing somewhere somehow. Because when you do that, it's more powerful. It's a lot powerful. And verbalize it. When you verbalize it, you ask yourself, okay, so what is my intention? And how is it going to look like? Okay, so and why is it important for me to have this intention? Why? So all your answers are actually there. Okay, so that is why it gives you a lot of clarity, so that you will realize that, again, you will not be projecting your expectations. You'll be very mindful every time when you project your expectations onto others. For very, very good intention, I am sure. But when you go deeper, okay, when you go deeper and ask yourself, are you trying, are you forcing others to fit into your perception of what is beneficial for them? Okay, because what is beneficial, what works for you may not work for others. Okay, so let me repeat, what works for us may not work for others. What we feel is fulfilling may not be as fulfilling for others, because it's up to them to how would I say, to figure out what is fulfilling for them. All right, and It's not up to us to judge. If that's the way they feel fulfilled, then that's the way. All right. So again, we're not here to judge. So, and we're very, very mindful of that because a lot of times we may be clouded by our emotions, especially out of love, especially out of love. Okay, we may, because of our love, sometimes we may damage our loved ones without even realizing it. It's because we have not been very clear with the intention behind it, with the intention behind it. Okay? I hope that is clear for some of you. So write it down and then ask yourself, okay, yes, my intention is to be loving. Let's say, oh, my intention is to be loving and kind. Wonderful. So when you're loving and kind to someone and you know that always succumbing to their demands is not going to help them. So are you really being kind and loving? Are you? Because when you keep giving in and succumbing to their wishes, are you training them to be more resilient so that they can fend for themselves in the real world? Or are you just giving in because why? Well, you ask yourself. A lot of times it's because it hurts you when your loved ones reject you or tell you off. Think about it. So that is why there may be other underlying intentions that may not be as clear, but when you ask yourself, so because of my love, is that person better off? Okay, so that is something you need to ask yourself. If not, then ask, maybe there's another intention, another underlying intention. So in life, we may have different intentions working parallel. Some may be an underlying intention, okay? Some are more apparent. So when we take some time out and question ourselves, you will notice that below certain intentions, there are other intentions, and that is why you do the things you do. You do the things you do. And that is why no matter what you say, but why is it that out of love, this person is not independent? This person is more dependent on you, and you don't think that this person can succeed without you around. So what am I doing wrong or right? Or whatever it is, whatever questions it is that you ask yourself, that's where you have to check in. What have you been doing? Because why? When your intentions are there, your actions will reflect your intention. Okay, it will reflect your intention. That's why you always look at what people are doing. And then from there, yeah, you may have your suspicion, oh, why is this person so nasty? Maybe this person is not nasty. It's just that the loved one needs to be told off. It's called tough love. It's called tough love. So sometimes because you've been so nice to this, you've been telling this loved one so many times, don't do this, and the person is being very, very reckless about it, and out of pure compassion, you risk being rejected by your loved one, and you tell them, stop it. That's an act of compassion as well. It's called tough love. Okay, so compassion and kindness, you can always come in a peaceful method or a more wrathful method, but they all come from true love. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now, and once you have set your intention, first of all, I always set my intention of what is my intention in this life of mine. What is it that at the end of it, what is it that I want to create so that at the end of the day, or when my time comes and before I take my last breath, and I look back, I'm very, very clear. What was my intention of my life right now? And all my actions arise from this intention. So sometimes some of you may say, oh, I really don't know what I want. It's okay. You do what you think. You just take baby steps, as I always say. Take baby steps and keep trying. keep trying until you figure out what is it that matters to you the most. And I'm talking about values here, okay? Values, not the actual action. I'm talking about the values. Why is it important for you to do certain things? What is it that you are creating? What is it that you want to create in your life? What values are you looking at creating in you so that whatever you do out of these values, you will become you will be able to connect to your true self. You will live your version of your best life and to your fullest potential. All right? So take time out to figure that out. And once you've figured out the big picture of what it is that you want, it doesn't have to be, 20 years, 30 years from now. It can be, well, let's say for this year, for example. Okay? If you cannot think that far, start with this year or 2 years or 3 years from now. What is the intention? And slowly, when you get the hang of it, and when you take your baby steps and you focus on your intention on a daily basis, you remind yourself, my intention is to, let's say, my intention is to be loving and to be kind. And you can apply that to all aspects of your life, all aspects. And it's loving and kind even not just to others, but to yourself as well. If that is what you want to create for yourself, that is very meaningful and important for you. Okay? And you will focus on that. And everything that you do will kind of deviate towards, will actually congregate towards that intention of yours. And that is why you have a lot of clarity as a result. And everything you do, you won't ask yourself, oh, why did I just do that? Oh, why did I just do that? Oh, I've been working so hard for these few years, and man, what was that all about? So there's no longer a sense of confusion, or there's no longer a sense of loss, because you have figured out the underlying intention of why is it that you do what you do on an everyday basis. Okay? So again, baby steps. So don't worry if you cannot figure it out right now, but think about it. Take baby steps. And sometimes when you read books or when you watch a movie or a TV series or you talk to people, you get inspired. You get inspired to, oh wow, I wish I can be as fulfilled as this person, or I can be as fulfilled as that, or whatever it is that inspires you. And you look at the values that they bring. Okay, instead of being inspired by, I'm inspired by the billionaire, that is just of a very superficial level. That's the goal. Oh yeah, I want to earn $1 billion, for example. But why is it important for you? Okay, what value does it bring to you? Then you can say, well, I will be very comfortable. I can buy whatever I want. I will have all the luxuries in my life, and I think I'll be very happy. Again, I have said this many, many times. External material forms, okay, any type of material items that you like to have does not equate to happiness and peace and fulfillment. It does not. Yes, it can bring you comfort. Yes, it can bring you convenience. But happiness, fulfillment, inner peace arise from your mind. It is a state of your mind, and it cannot arise because of external factors. We have to be very, very clear on that. We have to be very, very clear. It is a state of mind. Okay? So once we are clear on that, then we ask ourselves, okay, my goal is $1 billion. And then what? What is that fulfillment there? What kind of value does it bring me? Okay, so I'm not here to say that money is not good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying think deeper on all the external goals that you set for yourself and what it truly means for you. And keep asking yourself, so, what kind of value does that bring? Why is it so important? And then what? And then what? And then what? And this is what I do during the workshop. So every Saturday after the talk at 9:45, I have a workshop with everyone who signs up on Google Meet. A Google Meet link will be sent, and I will actually guide all of everyone to think about what I have just taught. So if you like that, and that is actually um, something that you will like to explore, because why, it's more interactive. Right now you're just listening to what I'm saying, and if you like to have more Q&A and to interact, the workshop after this is where you can interact, okay? And that's where you understand a lot deeper of what I have just shared. All right, so in a nutshell, set an intention for your life. If you cannot, for now, at least for the year or 2 or 5, up to you. Once that is clear and once that is set, then focus on that every day. So every morning after you wake up, before you leave your house, take a moment of silence and focus on the intention for the day. The intention for the day that, of course, correlates with the intention for the year or for your life. Okay? And that's how you do it. And your entire day will revolve around this intention. And then you see what happens. Okay, and at the end of the day, before you sleep, take some chill time, have a cup of coffee or tea, whatever it is that you drink, or just sit back and relax and just rewind. So everything that you did for the day, or that you have said for the day, does that match the intention that you have set for the day? If yes, wonderful. If not, then the following day, be more mindful so that everything that you say or do is aligned to the intention that you have set. And if you do this on a daily basis with consistency, you will notice that your life will start to change. You will feel more fulfilled. And you have so much clarity, and you will no longer ask yourself, what's all this about? Why am I so stressed? Or why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? You will not have as many questions, because you will become more and more clear, because your intention is very, very clear. All right. So on that note, if there's no questions, then I would like to thank our sponsors for today's session. Okay. Today's sponsor is Chong Siu Kin. Dedication: may all beings free from hunger and discord, may suffering be transformed into peace. Next sponsor is Anonymous. Dedication: dedicated towards all beings' liberation from suffering and attainment of compassion, wisdom, and true happiness. If you like to sponsor our program, please do that, because your sponsorship will be able to help us sustain our online programs that we have available for everyone. All right, and for those of you who are joining me in the workshop, you can email to be mindful@kechara.com if you have not, and our administrator will send you the Google link, and you can join me shortly. Okay. Now, next Saturday, I will not be having this program. Next Saturday is the 4th of September, because that is our founders' Parinirvana anniversary. It is the 2nd anniversary, so there'll be a whole day of prayers that we're doing until night. All right, so next Saturday on the 4th, we will not have this program, but the following Saturday, which is the 11th of September, I will resume this program. All right, so on that note, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys shortly for those of you joining me in the workshop. Otherwise, I'll see you 2 weeks from now. Take care, bye-bye.